Hi guys, Omar with Overlanding Just Cause, and I am finally going out. It has been a minute. I've got the dogs back here with me. I'm in the GX. I decided to drive the GX because the Commander he ain't acting right. He's just got a very small oil leak. Yeah, so I need to take care of that. Hooked up the GX to go solo, and we'll see. I'll show you what I did to her, and I did it last minute, like last night. I just kept thinking like, hey, I'm going 3, 4, 5 hours away. I don't want to get stuck out here in the Commander if something bad happens. So decided to take the GX. So now we're getting up on the trailhead. I am exploring Peddler River. Found it on Onyx. Now it's time to find a nice little spot for the night. Actually got off the highway about an hour into the drive, and the last 2.5 hours have been these back country roads, which are absolutely beautiful. I've really enjoyed this trip just because of that alone so far. Usually it's 3.5 hours on the highway and then maybe 20 minutes to get to the trail. Like I said, this was an hour and maybe 15 minutes on the highway, and then it's just been back roads this whole time for a total of 3.5 hours. All right, so we're on the trail. Peddler River is the name of the trail, and it's Forest Road number 39. So I always have two criteria. One, I like to be next to a creek. Doesn't always happen, but I would love to. The second one is I want space. I want a little bit of room. I've got the dogs. I like for the dogs to run around, get some exercise. Well, on this trail, it's either next to a creek and small, or it's a huge site and no creek. I passed one that had both. The only problem with it is that it's not as secluded as I would have liked. So I'm going back to it. Got hunters out with their dogs. I'll show you what I'm driving into. I think this is gonna do nicely. Dogs are ecstatic. Plenty of room right here for the tent. I've got the creek right there. Let's let them out. No glass on the ground. Here's my issue with this campsite. There's a little trail that goes to another campsite, maybe 50 meters away. It's supposed to be in the lows, in the 15s tonight. 15 degrees Fahrenheit. It's cold. It's going to be cold. Right now it's 30, 35, 34. Nice little trail down to the big rocks and water. All right, so I'm gonna water a tree, and then I'm probably just gonna pull out a chair and just take it all in. Ooh, it's cold. All right, let's water a tree. I want to show you what I did with the GX last minute. I did this last night. I ended up taking the captain chair up front and this third row seat out. I kept this other third row here. So I've got captain chair with the fridge, third row seat back here, but on the driver's side, took everything out. This gave me a lower platform, probably 5 inches lower, so now I can sit up in here. And it also gives me enough space to lay out. Now it does slant down, and I didn't have enough time to make a platform to level everything out, which is fine. I'll just put my head here and my feet over there. But yeah, that's gonna be my sleeping arrangement for the next couple days. Got the dogs playing tag. This is why I like such a large space. All right, so I've got everything set up. I didn't record any of it only because you've seen it before. I'm using the Trackway. I've got my little camp table, my little chair, Dunsky. This took about 10 minutes. I promise I'm getting faster and faster every time I put it up, which should be the case. The only thing, I didn't peg it down because I don't have any tent stakes. So that's fine. High winds, we'll have enough weight in there to hold it down. But there she is. This is the Trackway. Like I said, I didn't record any of this setup. I've got plenty of videos. Just kind of go back on my videos. Anything that has to do with camping or solo camping, I'm taking this out. Real quick, let's show you inside. I've got the dogs set up. Got my little table here. I've got my sleeping area. Later on tonight, I'll come in, have a couple snacks, watch a show or two, and go to bed. So that's the basic setup for my solo going out, solo adventures. Now it's time to chill. All right, guys. So it's almost 3 p.m. If you notice, I have my fire pit down there. I'm gonna start cooking probably in the next hour. Got Athena there enjoying herself. She's probably gonna throw up tonight, just eating wood. That's her MO. And then we have Cadence right here, kind of just hanging out. Whoo! It's getting cold. Now it's time to cook. So let's do this. So it's time to start up the diesel heater. Let's do it. It is it's 6 p.m. and it's 18 degrees. It's cold. Let's turn this on. Start eating. I'll let it blow air and wait for it to get warm, and then I'll put it in my tent. If you're running a diesel heater, you should have a carbon monoxide detector. So it's 9 o'clock at night. I wanted to test the GX. It's the middle of the night. I just tested it just to test it, just to turn it on. It didn't turn on. So I got my battery pack out, my Gulu, and it was at 2 bars, 2 out of 4. It wouldn't jump it. So I plugged it into my EcoFlow, watched a couple shows, and it turned on. I need that vehicle to start the next morning. It's 9 o'clock. I just boosted it up with my Gulu after charging it with my EcoFlow. It's all about prep and having things ready. And this one I wasn't ready for, guys. I made a mistake. So the little ones are like tucked in. All right, so I'm in here in the tent. It's 60 degrees. All right, guys, I'm gonna go to bed, and we'll see if the GX starts in the morning. I actually disconnected the fridge from the GX because it wouldn't start. The heater is powering off the external battery. There's a lot going on right now. Good morning. Man, it's cold. It's chilly. 18 in here. And that's because the heater went out. I think the battery died on it. So dogs are looking like they need to go out, so go out and use the bathroom and feed them and just get the day going. But yeah, that sucks that the heater didn't make it all the way through the night. I remember waking up at 3. It was 3 in the morning, and I used the bathroom, and it was still on. But somewhere between 3 and now. All right, come on, dogs. Well, here's a good lesson. My car won't start, so I am at the mercy of my EcoFlow trying to charge up my Gulu, which wasn't charged up. Lesson learned. I guess it's been 4 or 5 months since I've charged it, and when I need it the most, it's not ready to go. That is unsat on my end. So it's cold. It is 30 degrees right now, and I'm like flagging down. If you notice, I got the hood up right there to the GX. All right, guys, so I finally made it home Let me tell you the few mistakes that I made on this trip. Well, first of all, I ended up plugging my 12-volt fridge to this 12-volt here. That's a constant power to the truck. That drained the battery. What ended up happening with the diesel heater, because I woke up at 3 o'clock in the morning and it was still running, I ran out of gas, which makes sense because I already had ordered a bigger diesel tank. And the reason why it made sense now thinking about it, once I warmed up and thawed out, was I had the diesel heater running into the truck to keep the dogs warm and heat rises, so it would have kept the temperature inside the vehicle a little warmer than it was outside. The problem was I was running it at full blast, so that's what sucked all the juice. That's why the diesel heater ran out so quick. I went to try to start it and it took a couple turns. Finally got it started. Okay, it started. So I turned it off, and what I ended up doing was unplugging the refrigerator. Went to bed thinking that the next morning it would start. It did not. And there was no juice left in it. So I got my Gulu battery jumper and charged it up, and it charged up the car, ran the car for about 10 minutes as I was unpacking. After about 10 minutes, I had probably another 20-30 minutes of unpacking to do, or packing up to do. So I turned the car off thinking it recharged the starter, the alternators, you know, it's all good. When I finished packing up and I went to go start it to go to the next trail, it wouldn't start. My Gulu also didn't have enough juice to restart it that second time. That's where I ran into trouble. A lot of mistakes there. Once I got that car up and running the first time, I should have left it on and I should have unpacked and then just went home, I guess. Well, I sat out there for a few hours. What I ended up doing was I left the hood open, I took my Gulu and I charged it up. Now the problem with the Gulu is that it charges off that battery bank, the external battery bank that I had. It takes a long time. I knew I was going to be sitting out there for a few hours, and I did. I sat out there for almost 3 hours. And at the end, it wasn't the Gulu battery that saved me. It was a couple of hunters that drove by. I flagged them down, they pulled up, and I asked them for a jump. They didn't have jumper cables. So I explained to them, like, hey, listen, I know there's not gonna be a lot of people out here. I'm fine. I've got wood, I've got, you know, fire if I need it, I've got food, I've got water. You know, I'll be fine. The dogs and I. Well, about 2.5 hours later, that same truck pulled in. The hunter ended up calling his dad out in town, and they met halfway off the trail in town, kind of. And his dad gave him a pair of jumper cables, and he came back to give me a jump. We literally hooked up the two cars, and within seconds, the GX was starting up. A lot of lessons learned. What I experienced a couple days ago was not fun. I mean, it's an adventure, and I definitely learn every time I go out, but it's something that I don't want to happen again because next time it could be worse. By the time those hunters came back, it was 31 degrees, and the dogs and I were just trying to stay warm in the car. I had the dogs just fine because I took all the blankets and just laid them out and covered them up, and then I sat in the front, and I actually ended up falling asleep, and I woke up when I heard a truck coming, and it was the hunters coming back. I doubt they're watching this video, but thank you very much for helping me and saving me. After that, I decided I wasn't going to stay an extra night. I came straight home and kind of reevaluated my setup. All right, guys, so officially that's the end of the video. I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you guys learned something from this. We still have a few more months of cold weather. I'm here in Virginia, so cold is relative. I mean, it was 15 degrees. Right now it's, you know, 35, 38 degrees, I think. So it is cold, but not compared to other places. So if you're going out, please be safe. Next holiday coming up is New Year's. So Happy New Year and be safe. I'll see you guys on the next video.